Is that two?
How do you?
How do we turn on the TV?
Shut up, bitch.
Holy shit. It's like fucking Jamaican girl in here. How's you guys' numbers last week? Better, right?
I don't know. I wasn't checking the numbers. I did the Circle K run. I did. I didn't really do much last week. Just made sure I got the kids to and from school and.
There was a stabbing.
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah. Though.
Reported stepfather stabbed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Good afternoon and welcome to Kandit News' Daily Crime Report. I'm Johnny Rosario.
And I'm Danielle Baza.
And I feel like we were invaded by all of these magistrates. The court has been busy Saturday and then busy today in in charging these people.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll stick.
But there was something that came in that a case, they didn't have enough evidence, so the judge had to dismiss it. We're looking into that one. But yes, today we have, this is just from Saturday alone, we have 6 violent crimes from Saturday. And then we have the one from Saturday we'll save to the end is the Danielle put it out this morning, is the alleged
rape
of 2 children. And according to the magistrates, the mom of the children
Knew about it.
knew it, saw it, blamed the kid at one point.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we'll get into that at the end. So we're gonna read off which we think is we're gonna go from least to worst, and then we have one from today, charging Alfredo Bustamante with aggravated assault, family violence, and family violence.
Is it Alfredo or Alfred?
Alfredo, right? Or
Cool.
am I saying it wrong? I'm so sorry, guys. Oh, before we get started, Ole, can you put up the I sent you a food plate fundraiser at Jamaican Grill. It's for my auntie Norma, my first cousin's mom. She's Team Tamales. She's from Talafofo, and it's a food plate fundraiser. If you buy a $10 coupon from me, your coupon is good for jerk chicken and Boston ribs with 2 scoops of red rice and chili pepper and finadeni. Valid at any location, and there's no expiration dates. This fundraiser is for her battle with cancer. If you can contact me directly, personally at 671-797-7082, and this is for Auntie Norma. And if any, I know a lot of you know her. She is the lady who makes the best tamales on Guam, and she's from Talafofo. Thanks. Okay, you first.
So first off, we have Stephen McCollum. On or about, got it? On or about August 4th, 2022, a victim was motoring northbound on the inner lane of Route 1 in PD near the entrance to the Port Authority of Guam when a gray Kia Soul honked its horn and the victim proceeded to change lanes to allow the Kia to pass her vehicle. The Kia sped past the victim and changed lanes to move in front of the victim. When the Kia was in front of the victim, it brake checked and thereafter sped away. The victim caught up to the Kia when it stopped for a stoplight by Route 1 and Route 6. A female passenger in the vehicle began to yell at the victim, and the driver yelled to, "Come on, we can do this right now." The victim told the 2 individuals, "Look at your kids. They're plugging their ears. You guys are bad parents." The driver of the vehicle pulled out a handgun and pointed it at the victim. The victim took pictures of the driver and the vehicle and drove away. The Kia followed the victim to the vicinity of the McDonald's on Route 1 before turning away and heading back south on Route 1. The incident left the victim shaken up. The vehicle had a sticker on it which read McCollum. That's so stupid.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The vehicle was registered to a Catherine McCollum. The operator of the vehicle was later identified to be Stephen Anthony McCollum Jr. The defendant was interviewed concerning the incident on September 9, 2022, and claimed that the female driver of the other vehicle had almost cut them off and was yelling at his girlfriend with attitude, which caused the defendant to become enraged as he had his girlfriend and children in the car. Defendant admitted that as he spoke to the female driver of the other vehicle to warn her to be more careful, that he was holding what he described to be a broken CO2 airsoft pistol. Police report number blah, 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 blah. On or about September 9, 2022 in Guam, the police were informed by a victim that on that date, the victim was driving in his vehicle by Mega Drugs in Dedido when a grayish-blue Kia Soul almost hit him. The victim had to move from the outer lane to the inner lane. The victim observed the Kia pulled up close behind him. The victim tapped his brake to warn the driver of the other vehicle that he was too close. The driver of the Kia, the defendant, pulled up beside the victim's vehicle by GRMC and there pointed a gun at the victim. The victim stepped on his brakes and called 911. The victim's version of events was corroborated by the passenger who was in the Kia with the defendant, Jason Torres Rushing, who stated to police that the defendant got mad because as he was trying to change lanes, the other car hit the brakes even though there was no one in front of him. The passenger stated that the defendant moved to the middle lane and pulled out an airsoft gun from the middle and pointed it at the driver of the other vehicle. The defendant initially admitted that he had an airsoft gun in his car but denied pointing it at anyone. After being confronted with the statement by his passenger, the defendant claimed that he did show the gun, but claims he did not point it at the guy. Police recovered from the defendant's vehicle a Daisy Proline 177 caliber CO2 pistol. Based on the foregoing, there is probable cause to charge Stephen Anthony McCullum Jr. with 2 counts of terrorizing and 2 counts of assault by physical menace.
Very good, Stephen.
Menace to society.
Very good. Okay, next up. And the next up is K.C. Rayfan Ole. On or about September 10, the Guam police officers responded to a disturbance call at the Shell gas station located in East Agana. At the Shell gas station, police officer Fabila. Oh.
Labia?
Fabila.
Sorry.
Was informed. Oh, you got that? I didn't think you got that. Informed by a victim that a man who was being detained by other officers and who Officer Fabila recognized from past encounters to be Casey Rayfan, that the defendant had entered the establishment and began to yell while walking around the store towards people. The defendant began to yell at the victim multiple times he was, quote, going to F her up, end quote, outside and punched the window. Oh, no, wait. Defendant ignored multiple requests by the victim that he leave the establishment. The defendant then walked outside and punched the window that the victim was standing next to. The victim, who is 7 months pregnant, was fearful and the defendant would hurt her and her unborn child. When police interviewed the victim, they noted that her hands were shaking and she appeared stressed. When the defendant was arrested outside the establishment, it was noted that the defendant emitted a strong odor of intoxicating beverage and had bloodshot, watery eyes. In other words, he was drunk. Based on the foregoing, there is probable cause to charge K.C. Rayfan with terrorizing, disorderly conduct, and public drunkenness.
Next, I got Rico Wasisang. On or about February 16, 2022, officers were dispatched to Swamp Road in Dedido. They met the victim, who told them that her son, the defendant Rico Genovan Bacilius Wasisang, had become violent and damaged items near the residence with a stick. The defendant lives in a wood and tin shack next to her residence. The victim told officers that the defendant had called her numerous derogatory terms, including a worthless F, and that she fears for her and her family's safety. The police report indicates that the damaged property is valued at $60. Based on the foregoing, there is probable cause to charge Rico Wasisang with criminal mischief and family violence. At least these are no contact yet. These are just,
These are done, right? All of that's done. Okay.
These ones are trying.
That one will read. Okay. On or about September 9th. Oh, this is... Okay, I'm going to kill this name, but I'm going to go for it. Putian Chad Mendiola.
Shut! Chad! It's Chad!
Oh, it's Chad?
Putian.
I thought we were sticking... Yeah. Oh, Chad. Chad. I thought we're sticking with the tomorrow.
Yeah,
right?
Me too. I thought
Okay,
so too.
okay. On or about...
What's Putian mean?
I don't know. Ole, what's Putian? Or Putian? Like, Putian?
Like he's hurt?
No, that's Puti.
Oh.
Okay, never mind. On or about September 9, officers were dispatched to Alagueta Street in Dedido. Officers spoke to victim 1, who told them that the defendant, Putian Chad Mendiola, is his father. The defendant told victim 1 and victim 2 to do some chores. An argument ensued and the defendant grabbed victim 1 by the throat and started choking him with his left hand. The defendant grabbed victim 2 by the throat with his right hand and started to choke him. The victims escaped the defendant. Officers noted that both victims had slight redness to the neck area. Victim 2 was interviewed and corroborated victim 1's statement. Based on the foregoing, there is probable cause to charge Putian Chad Mendiola 2 counts of strangulation and 2 counts of family violence. Reading this now, kids didn't want to do their chores, and so...
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this.
What would I do?
Yep. Okay.
But did you say Putian means sunrise? He looks like the
Putian?
darkness.
I don't know. Okay,
Okay, mine's Alfredo Bustamante.
Okay, wait. Alfredo Bustamante
Is today's.
is from today's Maggies.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to let you guys know.
But he's not like the worst. That's why.
Or
right?
should I do this first? Yeah.
Okay.
Go with that. There you go. Yeah.
All right. So, on or about September 10, 2022, officers were dispatched to the Ladera Towers in Manila. The officer spoke to the victim, who told dispatch that she was attacked by her husband, the defendant, Alfredo Bustamante. Oh, it is Alfredo. And that she was hiding in her bedroom. Officers met the victim, who appeared to be crying, nervous, and scared. Officers noted that the victim's left eye was bleeding from her inner eye socket, along with black and blue swelling, with her eyelids appearing puffy and closing. Officers also noted that the victim was very traumatized and was shaking tremendously. Medic number 3 was dispatched and rendered assistance to the victim. The victim told officers that the defendant had grabbed her cell phone and threw it at her, striking her in the left eye, which was the cause of the injury. A witness corroborated the victim's statement. Based on the foregoing, there is probable cause to charge Alfredo Bustamante with aggravated assault, family violence as a felony, and family violence as a misdemeanor. Shame.
Okay. This one's a pretty long one. This is
The disgusting one?
yeah. No, not
No,
yet.
no.
You're doing the disgusting one. On or about April 14, a victim walked into the Delito precinct and told officers that earlier in the day, defendant Kevin Charles Pareda punched him in the jaw and face numerous times. The defendant then grabbed a metal kitchen chair and hit the victim 3 times in the back. A half an hour later, the defendant threatened to shoot the victim, his kids, and everyone else. The defendant then said he would, quote, blast, end quote, everybody in the household, as well as every officer who stepped foot in the front of the door or property. The victim told officers that he has seen the defendant clean a black Glock previously. The victim told officers that both he and the defendant live at the same residence. On or about September 9, 2022, officers were dispatched to Liguan Terrace in Delito. They met the reporting person who told officers that the defendant became angry for no reason. She told officers that the defendant was her stepfather and that he stabbed her mother with a knife. The defendant then attempted to stab victim 2. The reporting person described the knife as a kitchen knife with a blue handle. Victim 1 was interviewed and told officers that the defendant pushed him onto the floor and attempted to stab him. The victim told officers that a few seconds later, the defendant told him to tell officers that, quote, his wife, end quote, fell on the knife. Officers asked the victim if he was afraid of the defendant when he was holding the knife, and he told them that he was afraid for his safety and life. Officers attempted to advise the defendant of his Miranda rights, and he stated, quote, sir, I don't want to sign if I'm going to get arrested. Quote, sir, I did not stab my wife. She fell on it, end quote.
Yeah.
Officers spoke to the victim, who told them that the defendant had punched her at least twice in the ribcage during the incident. Oh, God. The victim was transported to Guam Regional Medical City. Officers contacted ER staff and were told that her status was unknown as of 9:50 p.m. Based on the foregoing, there's probable cause to charge Kevin Charles Pareda with 2 counts of aggravated assault and with special allegation of deadly use of a weapon. With the special allegation of deadly weapon in use or weapon used in a felony violation, blah, blah, blah. Terrorizing as a 3rd-degree felony, another terrorizing count, family violence, and 3 counts of family violence. Very good, Kevin.
But sir, I didn't hit her. She
ran
ran into my fist.
fell on the knife.
She fell.
Okay, this one is a sad one. Please,
Pray for the victims.
yes, if you're under 18, go away. Don't listen to this. Okay, go for it now.
On or about September 9th, 2022 in Guam, the Child Protective Services made a criminal sexual conduct complaint concerning 2 minor female children. The first child informed police that when she was around 4 or 5 years old, that her father, identified to be Rodney Martinez Uggan, took off the minor's clothing, laid her down, and put his penis inside of her vagina. The minor stated that she tried yelling and fighting, but that no one else was in the house. The minor stated that it happened again 3 or 4 months ago at their apartment in Jigo. The minor further stated that the defendant, number 1, would sometimes have her rub his penis. As the minor stated this, the minor gestured a stroking motion with her hand. The minor also stated that she had seen the defendant, number 1, wiping white stuff off of her. The minor further stated that there was an incident in the shower with the defendant, number 1, when the defendant, number 1, tried to put his penis in her butt, but he could not finish. Police were also informed by another child that when she was around 3 or 4 years old, she was locked in her parents' bedroom by her father, the defendant, number 1. In the room, the defendant, number 1, took off her clothes and put her on the bed and put his private part inside mine. The minor further stated that the defendant, number 1, would mate with her a lot. The minor also stated that it happened in the shower and that she told the defendant, number 1, to stop. The victim stated that during COVID time that she woke up to the defendant, number 1, being in front of her and picking up her legs while mating. The minor stated that the defendant, number 1, threatened to spank her with his slipper if she did not want to do anything with him. Defendant number 1 was interviewed and admitted as follows: that when one of the victims was born, that he had oral sex with her, that when the victim was 5, he made her give him a hand job while the victim was naked and while the other victim was in the room watching, that he digitally penetrated the victim in the anus when she was 6, that when the victim was 6, that he tried to have sex with her, but that his wife, defendant number 2, caught him so nothing happened, that when the victim was 8, that he had sexual intercourse with her, that around July 2020 he tried to have sexual intercourse with the victim but could not get fully aroused, that in the month of July 2022 he raped the other victim in her bed and finished outside of her vagina. The mother of the 2 minor children, Geraldine Marie F.B. Uggan, defendant number 2, was interviewed by Guam Police on September 9, 2022. When informed that the police were entertaining a criminal sexual conduct complaint against her husband, defendant number 1, defendant number 2 stated that an incident years ago when the victim was around 4 or 5, that defendant number 2 remembered that the victim was sitting on defendant number 1's lap and that the victim was rubbing defendant number 1's thigh, causing him to get aroused. Defendant number 2 stated that she got mad and told her husband that it was wrong for him to react that way. Defendant number 2 recalled another incident when she walked into their bedroom and found defendant number 1 naked from the waist down, with the victim also naked on top of defendant number 1. Defendant number 2 grabbed the victim and took her from the room. Defendant number 2 also stated that the other victim touched her when she was a little girl. Defendant number 2 has never kept the victims away from defendant number 1, nor filed a report despite being informed by the victims of incidents that occurred. Based on the foregoing, there is probable cause to charge Rodney Martinez Uggan with 2 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct and 2 counts of second-degree criminal sexual conduct. Based on the foregoing, there is probable cause to charge Geraldine Marie F.B. Uggan with 2 counts of child abuse as a misdemeanor. That's all for today.
You know, when I read this, I'm so glad school's open.
Like, who are they supposed to run to if they can't?
If they want to tell their mother,
parents?
you know?
Yep. It makes me so. She looks familiar. I don't know.
These people are born in 1982. They're both born in 1982.
In cases
I really
like
hope
these,
he
right?
doesn't screw this up.
Yeah.
I'm
How
not
can
sure
you?
where the girls are, but maybe I don't know. My head's I'm just thinking.
Reeling.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us. There is more magistrates. We just thought that was way too much, and then we wanted to get you Alfredo Bustamante's report out. But mainly, we really wanted to get you this.
Rodney and Geraldine,
Yes, again.
parents
Yeah.
of the year.
Yes. You guys have a great day. Please drive safe.
Take care of your kids.
We will see you tomorrow morning.